Look at a map of North America, and your eye naturally drifts past the upper right corner. But behind closed doors, in Washington, presidents and policymakers have repeatedly looked at that exact spot and demanded complete ownership of a massive Arctic territory. This pursuit follows a calculated geopolitical objective that has remained remarkably consistent for over 150 years. This target is Greenland. It spans an area 3 times the size of Texas, yet it is populated by just 56,000 predominantly indigenous people. Right now, it operates as an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, managing its own internal affairs while Copenhagen handles defense and foreign policy. For decades, it was treated as a peripheral outpost. Today, the island has moved to a central focus for the world's major powers. As the Arctic ice sheet recedes, it exposes 2 massive strategic advantages that were once physically inaccessible. This map highlights the first advantage. Greenland holds the 8th largest reserves of rare earth elements on the planet. These are the critical minerals required to build our advanced technology, electric vehicle batteries, and high-end military hardware today. Right now, China controls the overwhelming majority of the global rare earth supply chain. If those exports are restricted, American manufacturing and defense production lose their access to the materials that run modern society. Look at this projection of the Arctic Ocean. By 2050, melting ice is expected to open the transpolar sea route, creating a shipping lane directly over the North Pole. Greenland sits right at the exit, anchoring a naval choke point between Iceland and the UK. Between the minerals in the bedrock and the maritime routes on its shores, control over Greenland has become a central pillar of American supply chain security and Arctic strategy. The United States has developed a specific playbook for securing this territory. The first strategy is the bluntest, a direct, transactional purchase using overwhelming financial capital. In 1867, Secretary of State William H. Seward, the man who negotiated the purchase of Alaska, pushed for the U.S. to buy Greenland from Denmark. In 1946, President Harry Truman offered the Danish government $100 million in physical gold to hand over the island entirely. Most recently, proposals to replace Denmark's subsidies with a massive American buyout were flatly rejected. Danish leaders, like Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, have maintained that a sovereign people cannot be bought and sold. With outright purchasing stalled, the playbook shifts to the second strategy, maintaining a de facto takeover through permanent military entrenchment. Under the 1951 Defense Agreement, the U.S. secured the right to establish bases on the island. That agreement allows the U.S. to operate the Thule Space Base, which tracks polar satellite orbits and provides critical early missile warning capabilities. Direct real estate transactions have failed, but these existing treaties give the American military vast operational jurisdiction across the island, securing the tactical high ground without formal sovereignty. The third strategy is economic subversion, and it is deployed the moment a rival power attempts to buy influence in the territory. In 2018, Chinese state-backed companies bid to finance the construction of 3 international airports in Greenland, while simultaneously attempting to develop local rare earth mines. The Pentagon flagged this immediately. If Greenland defaulted on those loans, China could use the debt as leverage to seize strategic Arctic infrastructure and establish a military foothold on the edge of the Atlantic. Faster, more urgent tone, the United States launched an aggressive diplomatic counterattack, pressuring Denmark to finance the airports themselves and kill the Chinese deals. Shortly after, in 2020, the U.S. opened a consulate in Nuuk and lobbied local officials to block Chinese access to critical local mining operations. By ensuring that development of Greenland's infrastructure and resources relies exclusively on Western capital, the U.S. achieves a form of soft annexation. But there is a final strategy, one that uses Greenland's own political aspirations to create an American protectorate. Under the 2009 Self-Government Act, Greenlanders hold the legal right to declare full independence from Denmark through a popular referendum. Polling indicates that a majority of the population supports this move. However, true independence comes with a steep financial cost. Severing ties with Copenhagen triggers the loss of Denmark's $500 million annual subsidy, which currently sustains the local economy. This diagram illustrates how the U.S. could step in. Under a model known as a Compact of Free Association, the United States could replace that missing Danish funding. In exchange, an independent Greenland would grant the U.S. exclusive military and resource rights. Washington can achieve strategic control over the Arctic by acting as the primary financial supporter of an independent Greenlandic state. A forced annexation by the United States would carry catastrophic geopolitical fallout. Seizing territory from Denmark would undermine the NATO alliance and alienate European allies. This creates a difficult situation for the indigenous population. For Greenlanders, these rare earth deposits represent a path to economic self-sufficiency, a way to finally fund their own government without outside help. Yet, the value of those exact same resources makes the island too strategically vital for the United States to relinquish. As the ice recedes and Arctic waters open, Russian fleets are already pushing into the region, turning the high north into a staging ground for a new era of naval competition. The Arctic is opening, and the race to control it has already begun.